Catskill, New York, in the Hudson River, and the first stop on the Bassmaster Tournament Trail. This is where it begins, where 284 Bassmasters go for $137,000 in cash and awards and take their first big step down the road to the 1987 Bassmaster Classic World Finals. It's a great tournament with a well-deserving champion, and a tournament where the words fishing companion takes on a whole new meaning. I'm Ray Scott. Don't go away. We'll be right back from the Bassmasters Invitational in Catskill, New York.
The Hudson River. From here you can travel by boat north to Albany, New York, or motor south to New York City on 150 miles of navigable water that found its place in history 377 years ago. That was when explorer Henry Hudson, the person for whom this river is named, first sailed here, to this very place at Catskill, New York. When Hudson's ship dropped anchor here on September 15, 1609, the ship's historian appropriately wrote that at night we came to other mountains which lie from the river's side. Our boat went to fish and caught great store of very good fish. Today there are still very good fish here, but between that day in 1609 and now, things changed. Man polluted the Hudson River, dropping waste into the water till fires broke out on its surface. But after many years of erring, man cleaned the Hudson River, ridding it of what he had created. Today, this river is alive with commerce and recreation, and fishermen searching for a great store of very good fish. The New York Invitational, the first Bass Angler Sportsman Society tournament of the 1987 season. For the winner, there'll be $32,000 in cash and awards. And while the prize money is one magnet for these Bassmasters, so are the points they'll earn here for the pounds and ounces of bass they catch. Points that will accumulate during the next 5 tournaments on the road to the Bassmasters Classic. At that time, the top 35 anglers will head to the Classic, the World Championship of Professional Bass Angling. Most of these Bassmasters have fished the Hudson before, either as local anglers who frequently compete here or as touring pros who fished the Hudson during the 1984 New York Invitational. The time is October, and the conditions are different from 2 years ago. Bassin great Roland Martin won that 1984 tournament on the Main River. But due to cooler water temperatures, the local anglers say the fishing on the Main River has not been as good as in other years. Those knowledgeable of the Hudson favor the creeks, where the water's warmer this time of year. But they also know it's certainly possible for someone to find a concentration of really good fish on the river. The creeks are known for quantities of bass, the Main River for quality bass. Regardless of where they fish, these Bassmasters must master one element if they're to catch bass: the tide.
Here on the Hudson, the fishermen are going to have to contend with one major obstruction during the tournament. That is the tidal change. Here in Catskill, we have a tide change twice a day that runs between 4 and 5 feet, depending on the conditions evolving around it. If the wind blows from the south and the tide is coming in, we'll get an abnormally higher tide. And if the wind is from the north and the tide is coming in, we'll get an abnormally low tide. And a lot of the fishermen that aren't from around the area, who have never fished this area, are going to have to contend with this for the 3 days of the tournament. And some days they may fish in one location that, for instance, has 4 feet of water and catch a lot of fish, and the next day coming back, there won't be any water and no fish there.
Wednesday, first day of competition. Conditions are different today than they were in practice. For the last 2 days, a strong south wind made this river an ocean, preventing many of the anglers from scouting the areas far south. But today, as the fishermen leave the checkout area, it's calm, at least for the moment. The rules for this tournament state a bass must be at least 12 inches long to be eligible for the scales. The limit is 5 bass, either smallmouth or largemouth, per day. Anglers are allowed to cull bass as long as they do not have more than 5 in their possession. 2 ounces are subtracted from the angler's catch if he weighs in a dead fish. A popular tournament strategy is to first go for a limit of 5 keeper bass, regardless of size. The fishermen then try to catch larger fish, culling the smaller ones. Within an hour after the tournament starts, anglers fishing in Esopus Creek, south of Catskill, are already culling their catch. It's obvious that not only is there a lot of competition here, but also there are a lot of bass. As the winds come up from the north, turning the main river into a roller coaster, more and more anglers find their way into this protected creek. The theory advanced for the huge concentration of bass here is that the colder river water has pushed the bait fish and the bass into the warmer water creeks, like this one. Regardless of the numbers of fish here, however, the tide is still a major influence as to when these fish bite. Most strikes coming on either side of high or low tide changes. Lower weights are predicted for this tournament, but as the fishermen come to the scales this first day, it's obvious the cream comes to the top, that the pros have winning ways. Pros like Woo Daves of Virginia.
And Woo has the limited bass. Woo's a classic contender, has won one of our national tournaments. He's a great angler, and he's has a remarkable bunch of fish. I'm going to say these fish are going to go at least 10 pounds. At least, all right. Would you believe we're starting off, folks, with 15 pounds, 10 ounces. Nice hand for Woo Daves, Woo.
Tidal fishing is a mystery to many, and former Bassmasters classic champ Hank Parker explains why.
I think that the way that the fish are being caught here, at least the way that I'm catching the fish and caught them in practice as well, the fish move with the tide, and the tide comes in and out, and the fish just come in schools. Like I fished today for 4.5 hours in one little place and didn't get a bite. And then all of a sudden, in 5 minutes in a grass line, I caught 5 fish. And that's kind of the way it works. The people that are catching the fish are people that are staying in one area and just working up and down, like on one barge or one set of piling, and just working up and down and waiting on the tide to move the fish, or actually waiting the fish to come to them.
Stay tuned. The Bassmasters will be right back for a visit to the Catskill Coffee Club, meeting in the Creek of the Week. And be ready to witness a surprise turn of events in the New York Invitational. Day 2 of the Bassmaster New York Invitational is different. The weather is calm and overcast with a light drizzle. And here to Esopus Creek, the Creek of the Week, the anglers flock. Some were here yesterday. Some heard about it yesterday. And some just want to join the fun. As they park their boats and cast and cast and cast some more into the same tiny area they're staking claim to, many liken the unlikely tournament scene to a coffee club meeting, or at least to a lot of the good old boys just having a good time. But regardless of the boat traffic, these anglers catch fish, like Florida's Roland Martin does here in the traffic. Roland won this tournament 2 years ago, some 60 miles downriver, and far, far from the maddening crowd. As to why he's fishing elbow to elbow is puzzling to some, but not to Roland.
Well, I think getting away from the crowd is the perfect strategy for winning this tournament. However, all the places that people aren't fishing have no fish. It just seems like this tournament, because of the weather and the time of year, there's really about 10 or 15,000 bass in these couple creeks. And practically, well, the whole tournament is fishing the creeks. And I don't think there's 10% of the boats fishing the river. It's just that they're stacked in these creeks, and everybody's going to be in competition with one another. And it's going to be whoever has the most efficiency in this situation. I'm using light tackle. Today, I've already missed one 2.5-pound fish right at the boat. I have a 3-pounder and a 2-pounder. But I really should have had 4 fish, so my efficiency's a little off. I'm sharpening my hooks. I'm using 6-pound line. I have a well-adjusted drag, but nevertheless, there's a few 4- and 5-pound fish in these creeks, and the angler that catches those 1 or 2 big ones a day